Welcome to the Temple of Geek Podcast. My name is Kari, and I will be your host as we share our thoughts on this season 3 of Bridgerton, episodes 1 through 4. If you haven't watched the show, save this episode for later and come back because there are going to be spoilers. If this is your first time tuning into the Temple of Geek Podcast, welcome. The Temple of Geek Podcast has been around since 2012 and is hosted by various geeks from the Temple of Geek team. Here we cover all manner of geek and pop culture, news, and events. To our returning listeners, thank you again for tuning in. We really appreciate you being here. So today we have some amazing people here to talk about, this first part of the season. First, we have, my fellow Temple of Geek team member, Maria. Hi, Maria. And and returning to is the amazing, the incredible JJ. Oh my God, guys.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
So can you briefly introduce yourself to our listeners and tell them a bit about yourself? We can start with JJ.
Hi, I'm so happy to be back here specifically with this topic and with you two. Like, I'm just like grinning like an idiot right now. My name is JJ and I make content on TikTok and I tweet and some stuff on Instagram. You can find me under Lady Dragon JJ if you like nerdy things, particularly anything A Song of Ice and Fire, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Marvel, X-Men, you name it, anything geeky, nerdy, and even romantic, you can follow me for that.
Awesome. And Maria?
Oh yeah, I am, like Kari said, I'm a part of Temple of Geek. I'm also on TikTok and a little bit on Instagram and Twitter as well. I watch everything. I'm under Mario Watches Everything. I do all the fandom, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, a bit of Marvel as well, but I watch a lot of TV and movies. So big fan of romance tropes and sitcom tropes and dissecting them and over-obsessing and talking. I just did a whole big 200 videos on Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. And now I'm obsessing over Bridgerton with a little bit of Interview with a Vampire in between, which also has great tropes and a lot of steamy and romance. So if you're a fan of Bridgerton and spooky, you should definitely watch Interview with a Vampire. Yeah.
Awesome. Yes, and no, there's so much amazing stuff out right now to be watching. So definitely check all of this out, check their content. And then I am Kari, also known as a Star Wars Tia. You can also find me on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Twitter. So guys, before we get into, details and everything, I just want to get, for context again, we're only discussing episodes 1 through 4. This is part 1 of what's coming out on Netflix. So based on these 4 episodes, I want to get like a general idea of how you guys feeling so far about the season right now. So JJ, if you could start.
I liked it.
Okay.
Here's the deal. Oh God, I don't want to be the one yucking my expectations were through the roof. Maybe that's my own fault for not like tempering myself. Like the trailers, the advertising, all of that, my expectations were here. And I felt like throughout these 4 episodes, a lot of the Colin and Penelope love story was hijacked by a whole lot of side stuff. And Eloise and Cressida and other things in between. I just felt like things were happening with them a little too fast. So when I was like trying to think of how this is going to unfold, being that, and I made a couple of videos in the past, like joking videos and kind of taking pictures that were posted by official Bridgerton account. And I'm like, Colin is going to have to work really hard for this, for forgiveness, for what he did to her, the way he treated her. To me, it was abhorrent. I'm sorry. Like that is your friend. You call her your friend and this is how you treat her in public, which if I remember correctly in the book, like he kind of diminishes her, talks badly about her in the privacy of his house with his brothers. But like the show made it like much more serious and he's in public at the previous season's party and he's like, I would never court her. You don't count. Like all these things kept popping up in my head. And I'm like, he's going to have to work really hard. And within like episode 2, they're friends. And I'm like, we got there so fast. Like, where's the squirming, the begging, he's gonna have to like do so much work to mend this relationship, this friendship initially, that can later maybe blossom into something else. But I just felt like it was moving a little too fast for me. Like from where they were at to how quickly they became friends and like collaborating, for Penelope to get out of her shell a little bit more. She's a bit of a wallflower. She's a bit awkward, a little bit cringy. I guess that's the right word. So it's just awkward. Correct. And I'm like, yeah. And the way like some of the clips that they were posting, like, good night, Mr. Bridgerton. And I'm like, oh, tension, high. Like this is what I live for. Like, give me that for just, to me, it resolved a little too fast. And again, this goes back to structures of television shows that I always like yammer about on my account. Like everything seems really short and everything is moving really fast. Plot is plotting. Like we are not breathing with the plot. We're not breathing with the characters, with the story. For me, I don't forgive Colin. I don't. Like that boy has to work hard. I don't care about the glow up. I don't care about any of that. Like you hurt my girl. Like I will die for Penelope. And to me, it's why it's fine only, because it just kept moving so fast. The chemistry was there, the banter was there, we had it all, and it was just a little too fast. That's all I have to say for general statement.
Okay, Maria, what about you? Thoughts?
No, I do understand where you're coming from, and I really appreciate you saying that, like, it's the story structure, because, like, I also talk about, like, how exposition is dead and media literacy is dead on my like account and how things are moving too fast. And I personally probably shouldn't be saying this. I have like a personal vendetta with Netflix with the whole part 2-ness of everything. And I blame that. I like when I watched it, I was like, this is because of the part 2. That's why it's rushed. They had to do enough for it to be a cliffhanger for the part 2. And that's why they did everything so quickly. So I very much agree. I think I finally figured out why they work later on. I don't think the resolution within the first episode was enough. Mm-hmm. But like eventually by the end of episode 4, I'm like, fine. But I'm like, I wish they let it breathe. And usually we get 8 episodes per season with Bridgerton. And that's usually enough. But I think they like hastened everything because it was only 4 episodes technically. And I blame that. I blame that like for not ruining, but like quickening everything, unfortunately.
I get it.
Yeah. And like as I'm also a Canthony girl, right? So like I'm not a Pollen person. So and in general, like I love Penelope. I just don't love Pollen. Like I don't love Pollen, unfortunately. So like yeah, like this was like gonna be a hard season. And I think with it being quickened, it just made it like it was good. Like I wouldn't say I loved it by any means. I was like, it was fine. It was okay. I think I rewatched it. I'm like, okay, I like it better on the rewatch for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it helps that we get to see a little bit more for sure. So like we got more, but like if to end on part 4 when we only like, I was just like a lot of feelings and thoughts. And I feel like it just went by. A lot happened, but it felt very fast and very hastened. And I don't know, like they should have handled it the way they handled Eloise and Penelope. Like they let that slow down. So why didn't they let Pollen and slow down? So questions. I just have questions. Yeah.
No. I agree with both of you. Absolutely. But I think, like what Maria said, the structure just completely kind of like made everything just like, oh my God. And not only that, but I also, the structure, but also because they implemented so many different storylines.
Yeah.
So many different storylines. So much
was happening.
Like, and at least in the first 2 seasons, like, yeah, we had like, the little side stories. But I feel like in these 4 episodes, they have been more prominent than what the story of Colin and Penelope should be.
I agree.
Like, because we started off with, okay, so we have Canthony, but it's fine because they're just giving us crumbs, which is, that's fine.
I expected only crumbs, honestly.
Yeah. So did I. So they actually gave us just crumbs for that. But then we have the story with the boxer, right, and his wife.
Oh yeah.
William, Alice,
the boxer and his wife.
Yeah, we had like a whole plot line with that. Yeah.
They just received like titles and wealth, and they're trying to adjust to that.
So it's all of that story. Then we have the story of Lady Danbury with Lady Violet. Then we have the story with Lady Danbury and her brother. Lady Danbury and her brother. And then we're going to have Lady Violet and Lady Danbury's brother.
Yeah.
And then we have Eloise and Cressida. And then what else we have? And then Benedict and Lady Tilly. That's already 6.
We also
And
have the Featheringtons, like someone having a baby.
yes.
The two sisters
Oh
in
no,
their
and the
marriages.
biggest one,
Why?
Francesca. Hello, Francesca.
Oh yeah, Francesca. We forgot about her.
She felt like a main character a lot of times in those
Yes,
4
she
episodes.
did.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
So
She was more of a main character than Penn, I would say.
yeah, because she's the first thing that we see in the first episode.
Yeah.
This is 8 plot lines happening
That's
in
a
4
lot. For 4 episodes?
To start off in 4 episodes and just one season, that's too many.
Yeah,
Because it's not
that's
like
too
they're
many.
giving us crumbs of 8 storylines. They have also become front of the story.
They should have given us more episodes. Like they should have given us like
But that's what they
Period.
not more than 8. Like give us 12.
12.
Like
At
just
least.
push
I was thinking
something. Yeah,
12,
you know?
yeah.
It's so frustrating.
So not only do we get everything happening so fast between Colin and Penelope, we get short amount of times for it to get there
Mhm.
because they're also, we're also dealing with all these other storylines at the same time, So that kind of like, again, like Maria and JJ said, the story, it was cool right now for the first 4 episodes and stuff. It's giving us moments, but that's it, just moments. It's not like a whole thing.
Mhm.
Like with Canthony. With Canthony, it was
God.
one after the
Literally,
other.
they had the whole season to themselves.
Yes,
like that was
they
the
did.
focus. Usually,
And even with Canthony was dealing with like, okay, Edwina was a big part of that story, being that she's part of that love triangle, if you want to put it that way. Like you had the Featheringtons, like Penelope and Eloise, I'm sorry, Louise. It still didn't feel as prominent as everything else. Like there's actual genuine moments between Eloise and Cressida, like building friendship, building moments.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this
I feel
the
like,
focus?
and I feel like this time around the season felt like separate storylines all happening. And before it was all like they all blended together. So it kind of made sense and it worked because last season with Canthony, Eloise was out. So we had to see like Eloise being out at the same time. And like obviously Lady Whistledown is the narrator. So we're always going to have that constant storyline as well. So like it just, I don't know. This time it was just like they just added so much, and like I'm very excited to see Violet get her like groove on. I'm just like, where did this come from? Why are we suddenly watching you like get courted? Like all of a sudden,
She's flirting. She's like a garden attendant too, maybe.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
I get that they hinted at it before, but like it felt very out of place right now with the storylines that were going on.
Yes.
It was a little like, I don't know, maybe Colin and Penelope felt like a side characters in their own story. Because again, you have 8 different things happening within 4 episodes. That's wild to me. Like when you look at the structure of Simon and Daphne are very prominent. It's all I remember from season 1. Canthony, let's not even like Canthony, or in every episode, there is something really epic that you can extract from. But like, I'm trying, like my brain is going back and forth in these 4 episodes, like of these epic Pollen moments. Like,
and I almost wish that they would have pushed off Pollen if that was like what they needed. Because I know that Pollen's not supposed to be the next story. It should have been Benedict's story.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like if you need, and maybe they just wanted to like kind of like cash in on the popularity of Pollen and Penelope. And I'm almost like, I wish they would have just pushed it then. Like if you needed more time and then focus on Benedict. And then that way we got more time with all of this.
And you sprinkle in, during Benedict's season, Pollen friendship being rebuilt and him begging for her forgiveness. And then you push it into full-blown romance and give them an entire season to be a focus.
You like introduce Sir Dublin or Lord Dublin, or I don't know his title.
Yeah.
Like at the end of like, that episode where, like he's like helping her, they like fight, they talk. They could have done that easily throughout 8 episodes, but
I think that would have been like the best thing, just to not just give us like JJ said, the sprinkles of them, like the tension, the whole season, just tension between Penelope and Colin, him trying to get her forgiveness. She's like, nah. And she's getting courted by other guys, and she's loving the attention because she's never really had that, type of thing. Colin just keeps getting more jealous, like that, type of thing. I'm just like creating my story right now, but like, something along the lines of that, but no, go ahead, JJ.
I was going to say, I was a little annoyed with the fact that everybody's expecting Colin to be this regretful, begging, groveling, like being pathetic. I wanted him pathetic. And all of a sudden he's
he
like
was
a
not
total,
pathetic at all.
No, he was flirty. He was getting all the girls' attention. And again, Penelope designated to like watch him from the sidelines, being all weepy and jealous and like sad over it. I'm like, wait a minute. And I get her, like when she gets her makeover finally, when she's like, "This, I never want to wear yellow again." It's like she's winking at the audience because the audience is like, "Why are you wearing so much yellow? You're beautiful, like super pale skin and red hair, and you're wearing yellow."
She's gorgeous this season. They like finally played her up. Like she's a gorgeous woman, and they finally played it up finally. So
like color theory is a real thing.
100%.
Like when you like pair up her skin tone and her hair color with the right color, she looks radiant. Like the green dress reveal, like in the trailer that it was, and you see it finally. Like I think episode 2 or 3, I can't remember. One actually. You're right. Like she gets her makeup really quickly. I was like, I rewind that scene like a million times in my head.
Yeah, it's a great scene. It's a great moment for sure. Yeah. I really do like Penelope's storyline because I like that I like that in episode 1. She kind of like channels her Lady Whistledown energy of like, because Lady Whistledown is a boss. Like, let's be honest. Like, she's the one like basically kind of commanding the whole time. And I feel like her finally doing that like glow up, changing of her wardrobe, recognizing that her sisters are going to own her. Essentially, she was like, no, and like she's finally like kind of like her inner or her other entity is finally coming out. So like I'm okay with like her progression of finally like owning and asking for what she wants. But then for her to be a wallflower, for her to like ask Colin's help, and then for Colin to like expose her, I don't know, that was like a lot. I'm just like, we just got her to like have a high, and now she's like crying in her room again, like literally by episode 2.
Again, that's exactly right. You go from that into like literally her being again humiliated. Like how much can this woman be
by
humiliated?
The Bridgertons, always the Bridgertons.
And I don't know.
Yeah, all I know is that, I mean, I've seen the excitement that everybody has on social media, and I'm just like, oh, sweet summer child. I don't know. The discourse is going to be...
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting for sure.
I think, again, from the videos I've made, the comments that I've seen, the stitches, all of that, everybody's expecting a pathetic Colin.
Yeah.
They're getting a glow-up slutty boy.
Yeah, the stitches and like even all the predictions. Oh my God. And like, I don't know about you guys, but I know that they were like very quiet about anything that they were showing. But for the past 2 months, they have shown a lot. I feel like they have teased a lot. So I feel like everyone's expectations are really high now. I think we had mentioned even because we had gotten to see part 1 before the trailer. And I was like, the trailer showed everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
I would have said I understand why they did like Good Night, Mr. Bridgerton, Spencer's Don't Need
that was enough.
It should have ended right there.
And they were so good. They were so good up until now, and now like they've just exposed her so much.
Yeah,
and they're friends by episode 2, and they're like, where is the begging? Where is her being mean to him for being total asshole to her? Like, I don't know. It was too fast.
It was too rushed, I think. So getting in
and hijacked by 8 different other
storylines.
Freaking storylines, so much.
It's so many.
Francesca should not feel like a main character, and she did. I don't know.
I'm not, like I said, she will. Okay, so let's get into episode 1. The first thing we see is Francesca getting introduced. As soon as we open, it's like Francesca, being there and being propped up as that she's gonna be the diamond of the ball, So that's like main focus as soon as we start. But yeah, so we get that, and then we get the queen. She's like, but the funny thing is that the queen doesn't immediately see it, so they have to work for it because Queen Charlotte is like over it. She's like, I don't know, these girls are not it right now.
She was bored. She looked bored as hell. Like they didn't give the character enough to do, in my opinion. So she looked bored the entire time.
Which is so weird because she's usually a big part, like a main character.
Correct. Yeah, she kind of puts she's moving. There's a chessboard, and she's kind of moving the pieces around, even sometimes misguidedly. Which is why some of the couples that she's trying to pair together, like Prince and Daphne, didn't really work.
But that's what makes it fun and like interesting, right? Because like that's like what you would think like the like nobility's mindset would be. I thought it was really interesting that she does look at Penn but then like is discouraged, and I don't know, I forget what like was said, but she was like, "Who's that?" And it's just like this is the first time like Penelope's on her radar, which is saying a lot because of the whole lady whistle down thing. But like I don't know, I know that so many people were like, "Oh, Pen's going to be the emerald of the season," and like this is another like people have it all built up that this is going to be Pen's moment, and I'm just like, yeah, and then they did this like one-off moment where she's like, "Who's that? Oh, no one? Okay." And it's like, why would you tease that?
No,
why would you
right.
do that to us?
I know.
And then we get to the part where we get a little bit of Crumb of Cantonese, which was absolutely love.
Their
seeing
full
them
honeymoon
together.
phase.
Yeah.
They're hot.
Yeah, they're so happy and like in love.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's
So
like a reward.
There's no complaints there because you just
No.
feel it every time they're together on screen.
Simone and Jonathan Bailey have like the most insane chemistry I have ever seen. Like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So good. And then we get to Eloise and Cressida and that relationship.
Friendship. Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know if that's in the books. That's not in the books, right? Like that was forced upon us.
I genuinely can't remember. It's been like probably a decade since I've read Julia Quinn's books. They're not good. So
Well, I don't know. It felt really out of place, and I think they tried to explain it that like, oh, she was only the one that was nice to me, but I'm just like, this is really weird. It's a very weird friendship for sure. Eloise is weird this season. I just want to say that, like,
she's all over the place.
She's so all over the place. I don't understand.
And, like, somebody made like a dueling, like a stitch or a video of like Eloise telling Cressida, "I'd rather die than be your friend."
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they're besties and they're dressed the same. And they have an actual conflict and some real conversations. Like they're really trying to make that friendship believable. Again, one of the storylines they hijacked, in my opinion, Colin and Penelope time.
Yeah.
And with Cressida, such an uneven character, which I guess maybe that's what makes it so interesting is at the same time, you don't expect that. But like, is she dishonest? Is she being real here? Does she want friendship? Like, she's on her last leg. Nobody wants to marry her for some reason. This beautiful, tall, blonde, skinny woman, nobody wants to marry. Like, okay. I believe that.
But Maria, but where did that friendship come from? Because it was like...
Yeah, exactly.
It's like spiteful, almost like Eloise picked the worst person alive. They hated Penelope. Oh, I'm going to be friends with her.
And I thought that was her motivation, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's confirmed or we're just speculating, but I thought that was the reason why they became friends.
It seems that way, almost like an additional punishment. I'm not friends with you anymore. I hate you, and I'm going to be friends with you.
Because like it makes sense that Cressida will want to be friends with Eloise because she's a Bridgerton. But like Eloise's motivation has to be spiteful. Like there's no other reason that makes sense. Which I don't know. You guys have talked about this as well. Like the discourse around Penelope has been like obnoxious and toxic about like
100%.
It was so bad. Like about like there was like no forgiveness, no understanding, and it's like Eloise has always been a terrible friend. And this is case in point of it. Yeah. Like this is case in point that she literally tried to do her best to protect her reputation because she did too much and like, got the queen to pay attention to her. And then you become best friends with a woman that literally bullies your ex-best friend. Like
with her torture, with her bully. That is your best friend where you're hanging on her shoulder. We're dressed in exactly the same.
Yeah. It's so, I don't know.
No other woman in that town that you could be friends with.
You picked that one.
Torture. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah. It really shows how like spiteful Eloise and like I don't know how self-centered Eloise is in general, which I don't like Eloise if you couldn't tell.
I'm not an Eloise fan either.
But
I'm afraid to say that. I am genuinely afraid to say that on the internet. But like the girl boss, all that. No, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't like Eloise either. I'm just
okay. This is the same space, right?
3 out of 3.
So annoying to me. No, as soon as I saw that friendship, I was like, okay, done with Eloise, completely done with her. So it was just like,
I'm not saying
the final straw, for sure.
This was it, and I'm not saying Penelope's perfect by any means. Like the whole whistle down, like putting rumors out there, ruining families, essentially. But at the end of the day, it's like you're a woman out for yourself in a society that deems you only worthy of if you are picked by a man. So you do you.
Yeah, and like I will die on the hill that like Lady Whistledown is a gossip column, And literally Penelope is just a microphone for the gossip that's already been circulating.
Correct.
Which I think this season shows perfectly, because why would she write gossip about herself only to be recognizing that, well, it's already spread, so I have to, as Lady Whistledown, which is literally a quote from her, because I wrote it down and I was like, I'm going to point this out, because like it's almost as if the showrunners were like, this was the whole point the whole time. She doesn't create gossip. Like, people are acting as if she goes in and breaks into people's houses and like reads their diaries. Like, no, she literally just like regurgitates, and that's
what
the point
she hears. These people are doing these things. They're saying these things. It's just put them in a paper and earning some money to a family that's broke. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, her father is dead. Like, her mother can't have a job. Like, what is she supposed to do? Eloise, on the other hand, is just doing it on her own volition, just because like she's part of the town and doesn't think like any of her actions have any consequences or any sort of accountability for anything she does.
She forgets that she's part of one of the most respected families in town. Like, you have all that privilege, and what are you using it for? Oh, more than a bribe, more than this. Well, what are you doing about it? Are you taking extra
leading on the lower class men, and because of that, you're better. Like,
correct. Are you going to school? Are you teaching? Are you taking an extra class in something special that you can specialize? What are you doing about your girl boss privilege status in your fancy ass family? I'm sorry. No, Eloise is on my shit list, especially after this whole Cressida nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Internet is going to eat me. That's fine. Bring it on. I don't care. I deal with Star Wars fandom.
Like, I would even like Cressida. I think I even like Cressida more than Eloise at this point. Because I'm like, at least Cressida like vouched for Penelope at one point.
Cressida is honest about what she wants.
In this episode,
exactly.
Eloise badmouthed Penelope, and Cressida was like, yo, but calm down. Why are you talking like that about her?
Colin told her, don't say anything. And she's like running her mouth and talking so loudly to any ear that can hear it. And the secret was
accountability. No like realization. No like self-awareness of who she is and what she can do, which is so annoying.
But like that hurts your brother too, because he's an idiot as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, that hurt him as well, not just Penelope.
Yeah,
she's been like this. She was like this with Daphne. She's been like this whole time.
Correct.
Yeah, she has.
Correct. The only person that she didn't torture, in my opinion, was Kate. Thank God. Otherwise, my God, I can't think of a moment if she tortured her or not.
They barely really interacted.
No, because
like, maybe
because Eloise wasn't really that much in season 2. Right?
Yeah. Eloise was in her own world, as always.
Yeah.
I did like that interaction. We shouldn't be talking about season 2, but speaking of Eloise, when she did have that conversation with Kate in season 2, like, you're not married, like, it's not that bad, right? And Kate's like,
oh, yeah.
No, let's be real.
Yeah.
It is.
But that was also Eloise being self-serving, right? Like, her being like, tell me what I'm doing is okay, you know?
That's it. Validate me.
This immigrant girl that just came from her hometown who lost her father. Tell me I'm okay. Okay.
The privilege is popped off. Like, please validate what I'm feeling.
Privilege popped off that day. Yeah.
Correct. Like, and Kate's like, no, it's tough for us if we don't get married. Like, I live in reality. You live here. Get down.
Yeah, literally.
Because you can live up there.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So
she needs a redemption arc. Like, I'm going to be very interested to see how they like make her. If they have a whole season dedicated to her, I don't know if I'll pay attention or watch that season.
It's the worst book, if I remember correctly.
Oh no!
Oh man,
I hated Eloise's book. I hated it. If they're doing what I think they're doing,
which they might, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. We shall see.
Yeah.
So.
Shonda Rhimes is going to have to pull a miracle.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, she's had so far, you know, season 3, you know, is questionable, but she has so far. So, all right. So episode 1, we also get finally Colin coming, you know, into his own and blooming as well. And now he has, you know, the girls fawning for him and, you know, total hotshot, you know.
Zero
so he's
suffering.
full of himself. Yeah, none. He went on an adventure and he was out there exploring the world and
17 countries.
He's all nice and tanned, you know. And he's good.
Muscles.
Coiffed hair, perfectly coiffed hair.
Literally, he was just flawless. Like, and I'm like,
he had the Bridgerton glow up for sure.
The Bridgerton glow up, correct?
He did. No, not thinking once about Penelope at all.
Nope.
You know he wasn't.
Oh, I wrote you some letters. Yeah, you thought about me really hard while you were having threesomes and writing
Yes.
Writing erotica.
That's writing erotica.
Straight up.
Yes.
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh my gosh. So we
Frustrating.
get
That boy needs to suffer. Sorry.
No, he does. Oh my God, that like frustrates me so much because that's what I wanted. But no, we got him first episodes being freaking awesome talent.
The worst part is like he comes back from his trip. He's like, I think the actor, I can't ever remember his name. He worked out, so he like bulked up a bit. Like you can see muscles and like the haircut you said is there.
Yeah.
All the family is welcoming, and Penelope in the corner, fucking groveling in like a pathetic little sad nothing, looking at him. I'm like, this should be opposite. What the fuck is happening? Like, why is the girl being patheticized? I'm pissed.
No. Absolutely.
I have feelings, strong feelings.
Yeah,
No. I love it. But then that's why this is why I love when she decided to get that makeover. We finally get this makeover.
Yeah, that was like the best part for sure. Was episode 1. I love that she took it upon herself. Like she didn't need him to do it because like I was really worried that he was going to be the reason that she was going to get like new outfits. I'm glad that she was just like, no, yellow is not my color. I'm getting green. And then going to Madame Delacroix because she has the money because she's been working. She's a working girl and she's like taking like the reins of her own life. And like I even just like the fact that she's just like, I just have to get married because like this is the way I get free. She's not even doing like later on we get the whole like, oh, I want to be in love. But like it's really just like a means to an end. So like I really liked empowered Penelope at least.
And prior to that, remember, I believe, again, one of the other storylines that hijacked a lot of these first episodes is her two sisters being freshly married.
Oh, that's the other one.
Yeah, those are so annoying.
Yeah. Because the Featherington, whatever they have money left, it's going to go to the son of one of the daughters. So now this rush to get pregnant as fast as possible. Like, I think, what's her mom's name, Lady Featherington? It doesn't matter. She's like, when they're married, they got kids, you're going to be taking care of me. And Penelope's like, I'm going to go get me a new
job. That was like the words. Those were the words that she needed to be like, nope, we're going to the modiste right now. Stop. Like,
I'm going to get stuck taking care of you who have like treated me like crap my whole life. Yeah. No, I'm going to give me a new dress and a haircut.
Yeah. I've always liked that like act character, but the way she treats Penelope is just never okay. And like even by the end, whenever she's just like her sisters being terrible have always been terrible, but like her mother being like, oh my God, you like got this like Lord Devlin, he's amazing. It's just now you're nice to her.
Yeah.
She has few like mama bear moments, but for me, it's never enough to forgive me the treatment of Penelope.
For
like,
the
bullying,
exactly.
Making her feel bad. Like, oh yeah, they're married, they got kids. You take care of me because nobody wants you.
Yeah, like that was like very out of character for her, I thought. Like it was just like, where did this come from?
It was
like, yeah.
But whatever pushes Penelope to get a new dress, that doesn't have to be Colin. That's him saying, maybe change up your clothes. No, he's like, no, this I never want to wear yellow. I'm sick of this yellow. Yeah. She knows it looks rough on her, so he's like, no, we're gonna change it. I love that they made that her own agency to change her appearance.
And then she comes into the ball. Everybody's enamored, and then we get to
Cinderella
meet Lord Devlin.
Moment.
Yeah,
Lord Blondie. Just like immediately, just like looks at her and is
tall blonde king.
Tall blonde king.
How many tall blonde kings can one fandom handle and everywhere?
Yeah, right.
It brings the powerhouse of the dragon. You name it. Like there's
challengers,
challengers.
Yeah.
So we get the introduction to that character. So yes.
Yeah. Wow, we have a lot. Oh my God.
Tall blonde kings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we get to we still see in this episode that's when, and then we see Penelope trying to talk to the guys, and she's still kind of being like awkward and crazy. I'm like, Pen, what are you doing, girl?
She looks so beautiful, and then you open your mouth, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Because they were flocking to her. Yeah, because they flocked to her. Like, because she was radiant. But then she opens her mouth and it's just like, oh, okay, never mind.
And it makes so much sense, like, within like the story that they've been told. It's like the one consistency from the story that's been told, which is like, she's never talked to boys before besides like Colin. So, of course, she's going to be awkward. Yeah. No,
I like that. And then Devlin, was nice enough to actually she was comfortable enough with him because they were, I guess she felt that she was kind of awkward like him. So she got funny and she got all, her little quips and stuff. That was really cute. I really liked that when she did that. But then she went and badmouthed Colin. I was like, oh my God, Penelope.
I was terrified that the Dublin was going to be like a total villain. That was like one of my biggest fears. But then he turned out much worse. He turned out to be a fucking weirdo. So I'm sorry.
That I feel like that makes sense because it's like they're not all going to be like Rachel on Page, right? Like some of them are going to be like very weird.
Imagine a dashing tall king being suave, smooth, just wiping her off her feet.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
I like that he was like the choice of the season. Like everyone wanted him. Like he's technically the Anthony of this season, right?
Was he though? I thought it was Colin.
Yeah, he was, but like everyone, like even like Cressida wanted him, right? So the fact
because
that
she's a choice.
Yeah. He's also the richest guy there.
The richest guy there.
So like that like maybe Colin might be more attractive, but he was richer. And I would say that's like the reason why everyone flocked to him.
Maybe for me, like Colin seemed to be catch of the season because everybody's like, all the girls are like trying to like vie for his attention. Like, who are you picking? Are you getting married? And it's like every time you look at him, he's in a group of different girls.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like,
point. Yeah.
And the mothers
like,
too.
He felt like the
moms.
catch.
Yeah.
And Dublin, like, I should probably take it back. The weird part. It's just I did not expect him to be like, what about birds and birds and birds? I'm like, be smoother. I don't know. Like Penelope deserves a suave gentleman. Do you know what I mean? Like, why can't be a suave gentleman to swipe her off her feet for a second, and then Cressida swipes in because I could probably get this weirdo because apparently nobody wants a tall blonde white woman, so I'm gonna get the weirdo too. Like that to me, that did not make any sense. That little triangle in like 3 when they started like. Kind of forming a little bit, and Penelope like being all pathetic trying to get Dublin. I had hoped that he was going to be a little bit more smooth. I don't know. Maybe that's on me if I expected that.
But I guess maybe because I wanted Penelope to have that what all the other girls had, the guy that was like, oh my God, that she was gonna just like, go even though she has this love for Colin, but he made her. The guy was making her doubt, but it didn't happen that way. And I guess maybe they made him that type of guy where it would be easier for Penelope to give up, which I didn't like that either. I don't like that.
I'm sorry. The way you just said that, it's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She gave it up. It was too easy for her to give it up because of what he wanted, the type of guy that he is,
Like,
so again, we get to the point of Colin having it easy. Because she immediately just was like, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm just going to go with
him. Penelope wasn't the one that rejected him. I think my only complaint of it, because my thing was like, okay, they're both awkward. Penelope being awkward and someone seeing her for who she was. Because the reason why I do like Lord Dublin was that he talked to her after the scandal. So it kind of reminded me of like,
forgot about that.
What was his name? Like, like the other guy that like courted the Featheringtons. That like every time the Featheringtons have scandal, that one guy that like the one that we meet in season 1, like he's the one that like kind of like always giggles at Lady Featherington's like puns and stuff. Like I personally just appreciate a guy that like is there for the Featheringtons and doesn't give a shit about like what the Ton says. So like I really like that about him was that like even like Colin like doesn't talk to the Featheringtons whenever they have scandal. So I was just like, he was just like, I don't care what people are saying about you. So like that's what I kind of liked him, but he rejected her, and that's what I didn't like. So it wasn't even Penelope saying no to him. It was him saying no to her.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's what I didn't like about that.
One thing I will point out about Dublin and Penelope, I think it's probably my favorite part in the entire, like the 4 episodes that we watched, is when she's trying so hard to appeal to his interests. Birds, nature, and all that. And she realizes finally is like, I want to be honest with you. I don't care about any of that.
And he liked that about her.
He loved it. That's my favorite part of those. And like, I don't need somebody like me.
Yeah, and I blame pacing for this. Yeah. I blame pacing for this because I think they're like, he's weird, but then he likes her and he appreciates her and respects her.
True.
So I think it's just too much whiplash, and it's more like we have to understand what they're trying to say rather than what they showed. Unfortunately, so again, it's whiplash because like they only recorded for 2 episodes.
Yeah. Right. And then
So-
the whole
You're right,
reveal of him
Yeah.
just wanting companionship instead of
that
love.
was so quick. Like that was like what got me. Yeah, I was just like, when? Since when? We just met you.
Right. And we have
Yeah.
all this backstory on you, that you are a traveler, that you do all this work. You
This
write
is your
books.
first season out, and like now you don't even want love.
Right.
Like, okay.
But we thought that you had feeling, especially after she said, I don't like any of the stuff that you do. We're different. But he's like, that's what I like about you, that we are different, that we're not
Yeah.
going to be doing this. Like,
Mhm.
kind of like magnets. And all of
Yeah.
a sudden he's like, it's not about love. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and again, it goes back to exactly what we talked about in the beginning. It's the structure of the season. Just plot.
Yeah.
Moving, got to get going.
Yeah.
And everything
They had to do it all
jarring.
within 4 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe that's why I use the word weird, because he went from dashing and tall and like very smooth to all of a sudden talking about birds out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, what's
Their
happening?
engagement should have been what ended season, like the 4th episode, I feel.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
100% agree.
And then,
Yeah.
okay, you didn't give us groveling Colin then. Give us groveling Colin.
Give it now. Exactly.
What a missed opportunity.
Exactly.
Okay, so one of the storylines, we see that Lady Violet and Agatha Danbury are friends again out of nowhere, because from what we saw from Queen Charlotte, Lady Violet was kind of like, wait, I just found out you're the woman that slept with my dad, type of thing. But
Yeah.
okay. Again, we see more steamy Colin having these threesomes and stuff, being a total F-boy.
But one
And then
thing
we get the
didn't-
moment, and then we
Which
get to the
one?
moment where Colin and Penn are talking. Penelope.
Oh, yeah, the erotica moment, yeah. And
Is this
she
the
has her-
garden moment when they
The
like,
garden
finally become friends
when
again?
No, we already had. Yeah, no, that's done. Yeah.
When they agree to like work together to make her like so he can help her find a
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
and they're like best friends again.
Yeah, we're cool
Again,
now.
literally
he said,
just
I'm
like that,
sorry,
yeah.
blah, 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 and then we're cool. All right. Then episode 2, we get, Lady Danbury again, all these crazy other things. Eloise being a big mouth again, because that's what she does. And then we actually, but then we get Cressida putting Eloise in her place. Like, I was like, how? When was it, Such a turn of events. It was just weird, because where did that come from again,
Yeah.
And then we get to the point where Penelope starts talking about Colin's eyes. I think that's the moment where,
Yeah.
she's complimenting. And then we get her.
She's flirting.
Yeah,
flirting. Flirt.
And then we get to the point where I think he walks her to her house, right? And that's when she's like.
That's when Eloise walks in on them.
Mm-hmm.
No, but then we get
Was
the
it
kiss.
Eloise?
That's after they. That's
Episode
after
2.
her reputation's ruined,
Yeah.
and then she asked for the kiss. Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't even
So
ask for it.
she-
She was like begging
She's like
for it.
begging
Yeah,
him. I was
So
like,
that's whenever she's talking about the eyes and she finds the erotica, Eloise is when Eloise finds out that Colin's helping, exposes her at that party.
That's right,
She
that's
runs
right.
away, and then he goes to check on her at the house,
That's right.
and then she asks for the kiss.
It's like, oh, my reputation is
Yeah.
ruined. I'll never marry.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm
kiss
never going to
me.
get courted. And then we meet. Then the whole Lord Dublin thing happens after all that, which is kind of a waste.
I cannot believe that instead of a season of him being a pathetic, sad boy, I have.
Yeah, they like had a kiss by the second episode.
not only
kissing
that,
by the
but
second
her
episode.
begging her.
Yeah,
him
this kiss
for
was the
kiss.
second episode.
Yeah,
He wasn't even in
kiss
the
was
heat of the
second
moment.
episode.
Like she has to.
That was like my
ask
issue. I'm just like, okay, fine, but why are they kissing in the second episode? It's too much.
Good night, Mr. Bridgerton. Good night, Mr. Like, I thought this is going to be like full season of just that tension of them like trying to fix their friendship, but they can't. But no, they're like, she's begging for a kiss in episode 2. And I'm like, just kill me. I'm begging. Jesus, take the wheel. I cannot. What's happening? Like, I am so high on Canthony like all the time. Maybe my expectations are through the roof.
Yeah.
So it's like, you could still build in like enemies to lovers into Pollen as well because she hates him.
They were set up
to her.
yeah,
They were
yeah.
set up for that. Like,
I'm
what
telling you, that's what
happened?
everybody's expecting. People are expecting that.
They are.
Yeah,
They are. And we were texting about it. I'm like, oh no. Like, why? The kiss was nice. It was very passionate. It was very, like, the lighting, the garden.
The chemistry is great
stand.
between them. They have great chemistry. It's just, it's like the baggage of them that makes it hard, unfortunately.
Baggage that hasn't been either resolved or the way they're
And, like,
like patheticizing Penelope and like highlighting, glowing him up. I don't know.
And unfortunately, this is like an issue with Bridgerton. Like, I don't know if you remember season 1, Anthony, but like I never hated a character more. Like I did Anthony season 1. So I was just like, I cannot watch a season only dedicated to him. But like they had 8 episodes of like redeeming him. So it's like, I don't think they really highlight or focus and do characters well until it's their season. But unfortunately, again, like just having 4 episodes, they had to rush it. But like I don't know, they always bite off too much that they can chew, especially with Colin. And it's like, this is why they should have given it another season. And like, again, this is Shonda Rhimes effect, but like this time it like backfired in my opinion. So
it did. And I knew the second they announced Colin and Penelope in 3 versus Benedict and Sophie, like continue, like something's happening. This is not supposed to happen this way because it takes a while for Colin and Penelope to hook up. They've been friends for a long time and stuff happens between them. And
see, they should have just waited. They wanted to capitalize on the excitement.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I think. That's
and
what
again, I don't know why Benedict is a fan fave. Like,
like everyone was so ready for Benedict. Like, I'm Team Benedict. Like, that's my favorite, like Bridgerton. So,
no, that definitely would have been a benefit if it would have been.
I feel like this season suffered because of it. Like, we haven't even. We've only talked about the 5 storylines they hijacked. Colin.
We haven't even talked about Francesca yet. Like,
oh my god,
like a main character.
And like I love Francesca. I almost kind of wish that this was a Francesca season. Like I'm like I would have been okay with that. Like she's already basically a main character anyway. So like why didn't they just make it Benedict and Francesca? They did too much. Yeah.
Colin should have been the last one. Like from Francesca or
he should have.
Like that. Again, let us suffer Colin and Penelope throughout all these seasons, because like, oh my god,
the Bernie, better, and you can fix.
And
it
would have been exactly. It would have been so much better. That's why Anthony worked, was because we were waiting and like we didn't see until the end.
Yeah, that was true.
And the thing is, like, was Anthony even redeemed in season 2? Technically, no. He just fell in love, but he was like kind of a dickhead the whole time.
No,
like,
not really. You're right. He wasn't actually ever redeemed. But neither was Kate. Like when you think about it, Kate was also kind of a dickhead too. But like that's why they worked.
Both of them. Yeah. But it worked. That's why
it worked for that reason. Yeah.
That's why the season is so spicy, because they were both dickheads to that poor Edwina who was kind of blindsided. And then
maybe season 2 was just like a one-off. I don't know. Queen was really good, but like season 2 was just maybe it was just too perfect.
But it works. Does every character need to be redeemed? As long as you tell a good story that fits within the parameters of what you're trying to do.
Daphne definitely wasn't redeemed. Like, so let's just put it that way.
Don't even get me started.
I was just like, when it comes to the Bridgertons, they don't exactly end up being better people at the end of it.
They are not good people. Okay, Francesca's okay, but they're not good people.
So it makes us like Colin sucks still.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
I think the Bridgertons were supposed to be like shitty. Like I think I realized that this season. I'm like, maybe they're just supposed to be bad people, and that's the point.
But they
couple one-offs here and there.
Yeah, exactly.
They make it nice.
Then there's poor Penelope. My thing is like a Penelope, like poor her that she has to go through this.
That's stuck in like the worst family with the worst friend with 2 worst friends. It happened
just
to be
because
Bridgerton.
they were neighbors. Yeah,
that's it. And who treated her like crap. 2 friends named Bridgerton treated you like shit.
Yeah,
and then one of them comes back and that gets your bully underhand, and the other one is like flirting with everything that moves in his skirt
and sleeping with it.
With it. Yeah.
I felt so bad. Like, she has to beg for her first kiss. This isn't how it's supposed to go. I hate this.
I know.
Should have been a moment of passion. Like, kind of like look at her in a beautiful moonlight in a garden, her skin glowing.
He should have just wanted to kiss her.
That's it. And
she should have just kissed her.
That's it. She leans a little bit forward, like indicate consent, like lean a little bit, like lean, like, purse your lips, and then all of a sudden you just grab her face and you fucking do it. Sorry. And you just do it. I'm so sad and humiliated. Please kiss me one last time, because no boy will ever love me. Why do it that way? Why would it do that? I don't know.
That's very interesting.
Is going to be it's going to be a lot. Which, in fairness.
Yeah, I wonder if it's book accurate. That's the only reason why they would have done it. Because I'm like, it makes no sense that she would beg for her kiss.
No,
I can't remember.
This is definitely not. This is definitely not what people are going to want. Penelope begging. I can't still imagine. For things. Yeah. So, but we get to the next episode, right? And no, we get Colin finally, fantasizing about Penelope and having these dreams and like looking at her and like, really
Best
deep,
moment.
like, yes.
That was
The
great.
moment when she's like licking her fingers and he's just like looking like, oh, well, that actually kind of gets me going, So we get that. We get Lord
Have you guys
Devlin
seen-
finally
sorry.
a suitor. No, because and then Penelope and Devlin finally socializing. Like they're starting to get to know each other. So that's where that starts.
Have you guys seen the movie Emma, the new one with Anna Taylor-Joy? So there's that scene where she's eating like a cherry or something, and then what the heck is the love interest? It doesn't matter. He looks at her and like, paste and copy.
Yeah,
paste,
it was copy and paste for that. Yeah,
I loved it. I loved that. Where she's eating sweets.
Why didn't? And I think that's the only time we really get something like that from Colin, like seeing her
desire, feeling
just
desire.
by seeing her. Yeah,
that I think that episode, especially whenever he comes and sees her dance or something, he has that conversation with his mom. It's like it's starting, but again, it's just too quick. It's like first what episode they're fighting, then they're kissing, now there's desire. Like then by 4 we saw what happened. Like it's just it's just too
that's what I'm
quick.
saying. It was too quick.
Yeah.
That whole thing, I wanted more of that. Him looking at her and like noticing all those little details about her and getting him going, like getting him turned on. I think that's the only time we get that from him.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Again, because they have to rush to the next thing when it has to come to them. So it's like, oh my God. So we get, and then again, hijacking. We get Lord Marcus, Danbury's brother. We find out that is Danbury's brother.
Yeah. There's
Then we get Danbury flirting with Lady Violet. And then we get Francesca meeting John, right?
Yeah.
So
that's the whole plot.
3.
It's Queen trying to marry.
Especially the Queen. Like she has 2 different suitors. It's a lot.
Oh yeah,
it's Daphne and Simon and the Prince thing, kind of like a repeat.
Again, it's like the whole thing again. Why they do the same thing? She's also the diamond again. Like they had to do a whole scene where she's like introduced to the Queen secretly while she's playing the piano. And like she's a diamond, like it's announced that she's a diamond. Like it's
shocking. Another Bridgerton a diamond. No other girl in the town can be a diamond.
Who literally looks exactly like Daphne, like
identical.
Oh my gosh,
freaky.
Yeah,
beautiful girl, but like she felt like a main character. I like Francesca. Like I can't speak.
Yeah, like I think she's a great character. I really like I really like what she's like supposed to be in the show. It's just like. Unfortunately, she's taking away from Penelope.
One episode, we get all of this. That's just one episode. We get all these different things. So it was just like one thing after and we get them socializing with the hot balloon thing. Oh, and we get to introduce to Lady Tilly, which ends up hooking up with Benedict. So there's the other one.
So
all of that in just one episode. Like it was just
that was
going on. So
forgot about Benedict and Tilly. The lady that seduces him. Oof.
Yeah.
So that was just nothing crazy in episode 3 between Penelope and Colin, because that's really what we should have been focusing on. But we get all these other stories. So Penelope and Colin was only Penelope.
It's more of a Cressida focus thing.
Yeah, so Cressida focus. My God, you're absolutely right.
Because we get her trying to get with Devlin.
Yeah,
crazy.
And then Eloise trying to help her. I'm like, why are you helping her? But anyway, but that was all episode 3. So that was just it. So now we get to episode 4, which gets a little bit more interesting, a little bit more, right?
It's cooking. It's cooking.
Yeah.
So again, we get a little bit more Francesca because Francesca starts, talking with John, and she gets that whole, okay, now we're I'm kind of feeling him type of thing. But then we get Lord Devlin asking Penelope to marry him. Like we get to the marriage, which again, episode 4 is already a marriage. Already getting married, right? Already. But
within the episode.
Within an episode.
Like it lasted 10 minutes.
It was nothing marinated.
Nothing. All we got was the mother finally being nice to Penelope because of that.
Only because found a man.
Only because she finally saw the value that Penelope could do something.
Yeah,
but Marion
their family.
I mean, and I like
no one deserves Penelope. That's what it is. No one
deserves. Like Maria said, like I like that. When it came to Lord Devlin, he was being very accommodating with Penelope, very nice, very anything. But then by the time we get to the part where they're about to break up or whatever, to find out that the only reason why he wanted to marry was because he just wanted companionship,
Yeah.
that was just like a
Heartbreaking.
downer.
Yeah.
Wow, that was
didn't like-
unnecessary.
Yeah, I also didn't like his line about like, oh, that's why you stand by the window and stuff. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
100%.
Who are you? You
Thank
just
you.
met me.
Thank you.
Like, yeah,
Thank
like I hated the ending. Like I was just like, you were okay. Even if you're weird, I'll let go of weird. Who's this dick at the end of this?
What
like
happened?
we was so, even if he's not charming, if he's weird, if they have like their like little quirks in common, then why are you such an asshole at the end of it? Like that. Sorry, didn't mean to cuss, but like he changed his personality by the end, and I'm like, that's what I don't like. That was like what I was found very jarring. Because it's like, then Penelope had to go to Colin. No, she had to run away. She didn't even go to Colin. She literally ran away and was in tears, and then Colin runs after her, which is cute. Don't get me wrong. I do love a good chase scene. But that, I was just like, this is so unfair. Because how did she get like humiliated again? She got humiliated nonstop.
Like just when like she either she's humiliating herself, in my opinion, by begging for that kiss that was completely unnecessary. Could have just been a heat of the moment. I don't know why that was written that way. Humiliated by Eloise and her big mouth, who can't stop doing this in public. Humiliated by Colin, humiliated by her mother, humiliated by her sisters, doubling.
Now
went through a whiplash from charming, suave to a bird guy to a cruel, cold guy.
Mm-hmm.
Within 2-3 episodes? Like this is just, and on top of the other million different storylines that are happening at the same time. Like I didn't have time to process any of it. And then like Colin, all of a sudden, to me, it felt like sudden that he was all of a sudden in love with Penelope.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They didn't spend enough time together. Maybe that was that like, look at your eyes moment. And then the sweets moment when there's a little bit of desire going on there. But like you're watching, I'm going to use even Simon and Daphne. Like they spent a lot of time together. Yeah. They were like forced proximity. Same with Kit and Anthony, where they could develop passion, develop these feelings. These two were separate the whole fucking time because Colin is too busy flirting with everything with the skirt on. Like, they're not spending enough time together for him to reach a conclusion. She's my best friend. I'm in love with her. I'm going to ruin her life potentially right now. And he did for like a second.
Yep.
Like I thought, you know what I thought that was going to be that moment of them finally spending time together was when he was going to be teaching her. But then that was so quick.
Cool. That was one episode. That was just one episode.
Okay, but then it just stopped. And then it just stopped.
Because he got exposed because Eloise opened her mouth.
Because of Eloise,
And then it just stopped. So now again, they're not spending time anymore. That would have been cool if they would have kept going. Because again, that would have been the moment where they're spending time and he's kind of starting to realize, okay,
I was waiting for those moments.
Yeah, no.
Like not forced proximity, but like we're friends. We're kind of teaching each other how to. I'm teaching how to.
Yeah, that's a cute trope. That's a really. I love that trope.
I love that trope.
Yeah, and it was the only way that I felt that like Colin would be redeemable because it's like through the whole coaching, do they find them like they finally see them in a different light? But they did it so quickly. Like I see all the elements there. I'm just like, you did it so fast. You did it so fast,
and that's what's frustrating. Yeah. All of the elements, like you said, are there. It's just plot's gotta move.
They shouldn't have broken it. Like, I'm never going to forgive Netflix for this part 2 BS. Like, I don't understand why they think, like, that's... I mean, they do it for money, and they do it for, like, following. But, like, it doesn't make sense. Like...
Or shock value, like how it's said, right?
Like, we get it. Your sales are low. But, like, why are you punishing the people that still have your account? Like...
Yeah.
No, I get it.
It didn't work. I'm hoping that they, once everything comes out, and they see, because they are going to see the discourse. The discourse is going to be crazy. They're going to be like, okay, my bad. Let's just go back to, what we did before. Which I don't understand why they changed when that worked. Like, I
mean, I don't think they are going to do that because, like, they haven't done it yet for other shows. Like, they did this with Stranger Things. You're going to do it again with Stranger Things. What else have they done this with?
I'll be honest with you. I don't have an issue with this, but contain the story. I'm sorry. Yeah. Contain it. Put it like...
they could have ended it with the proposal. Like, that would have been
Devlin's proposal.
Yeah, all of episode 4 could have been part 2. They could have done all of episode 4 in part 2 and just, like, lengthen out the Colin, like, teaching her how to court, getting to know Devlin, then give more time to all the 8 other plot lines that they had. Like, they just didn't need to do all of episode 4 in that moment, too.
Right.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But... we do have a redeeming kind of redeemable moment at the end of episode 4, which was the steamy cart scene.
The carriage scene.
Talk to me.
The chase.
Which is book accurate, apparently. Like, that's a big thing that I've heard.
It started with the chase.
So they'll be very happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it started with the chase, right?
Yeah.
Him chasing her outside into the cart.
After ruining her life.
Yeah. The chase was like a nice touch. It was a nice touch.
The least he could have done. Done.
It's the only time he's done anything, actually.
That's true. That's the first time he's done anything.
Besides being like selfish and like just, never mind.
Yeah. But I did appreciate, that at least they give us that, that moment between them.
It was hot.
It was great. It was perfect.
I thought they were going to get it on.
Yeah,
I thought that was going to be the first time, It's like first time in a cart.
Scene ends,
because you don't need not planned, not nothing pre thought out. It just happened because we couldn't contain each other. That would have been
great.
Yeah, kind of like with Canthony, like literally with what happened with Canthony.
Literally what happened when he like lifted her skirt and like I don't want to get like too like graphic here. I love those shots of skirt lifting and you see the arm like go up against the leg and I'm like. Yeah, we're cooking. It's
speechless.
They edged the shit out of me.
Yeah, no. They really did.
I'm so sorry. I just
thought like that good that
it was passionate as hell, and I'm like, oh, it's happening. Let's go. Wait, no, stop, don't. Kick the car guy, the one that gets the horses going. Tell him to go take a break.
He totally interrupted. He just totally interrupted.
It would have been great because nobody's talking. It's just pure passion and like desire and just do it. Like, that's it.
And you know what? What do you have to lose? You're already third season out. Nobody wants to marry you. You humiliated yourselves. People humiliated you. You have reputation down the fucking drain. Like, what are you going to lose by engaging in a moment of passion? You know what I mean? Like that's where my brain
that was
went.
definitely never the concern. It was just they had to leave us wanting more, unfortunately, because again that's when part 1 ends,
right? Like I wonder what's next, like
exactly, they had to leave everyone wanting more, unfortunately.
And then
finally got good.
That's when it finally got good.
It got good, and then we go down back to so now Colin proposes.
Now we have to wait.
Colin proposed to her.
He did.
I forgot about that part.
In carriage,
I was like, God.
It was. He's like, I forgot that he does that, and
he
that's
immediately does like, "You'll marry me." That's how it ends with the marriage thing.
You're right.
Yeah.
That was a marriage proposal.
I was like, damn, two proposals, from one episode to or in the same episode, was it? Yeah,
probably.
In the same episode, it's 2 proposals.
Within like half an hour of each other.
Yes.
Like not even the episode. It was like half an hour.
That is crazy amount of plot. Crazy.
They should have given it's the pacing. It's truly the pacing of all of it.
Is. Bottom line. If you can biggest critique, if you could sum up in one word, that's the word.
Yeah. Like I did understand it and I did I am there for it. It just it was very fast. And it's like I don't think I like it as much as season 2 because of the pacing and how fast it was, simply put.
Yeah. No. That certain things they could, like I said, the proposal thing, but that's okay, but later on. Leave us with the passionate part on episode 4. Leave us there. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't nothing else needed to be added, No. We would have been like, I can't wait for the next one because that's going to get some crazy shit. And then boom, he proposes to her in the next episode. Like, I would have been like, oh shit, okay.
And where's the conversation? Like, even before, you like me now? What is happening now? I thought we were just friends. Like, where did these feelings come from? Like, there's just no time to develop any of it.
I think they danced once.
Correct. That's it.
That was it. That's it. That was whenever Colin was having that conversation with his mom about friendship. That was when the Billie Eilish song was playing. You literally did that moment. And that's when her mom starts taking her seriously. That's when Cressida gets all crestfallen, pun intended. It just and then he was just like, okay, at her house next day. That was it.
So fast.
Boom. Their love. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I just feel like we spent way more time with other couples, even when like Simon and Daphne are not my favorite, but we spent a lot of time with Simon and Daphne, especially up until they're like fake dating to kind of everybody else, like being courted by other people. Kate and Anthony, obviously, like they up until the end of the series. Like,
and even Kate
like,
and Anthony, their love story, like they didn't kiss until like episode 6. Like that's why that season's so good, is because they slowed things down, and it's like you think they would have learned. Right. This one.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
And this is one of the reasons why a friend to lover trope, it's a good trope. I like the trope, but it has to be written in a specific way. Like, for me, like, Colin and Penelope, they have the foundation. It's just they they boggle the story down with everything else.
And I think that they rely too much on that foundation, because like the one thing I did kind of like, this is the first time I saw them together, was because Colin was bringing up memories of them, and he was telling her like, okay, if you want to be free, like when you get like, you know, whenever you're true to yourself, you will be free. Like I was like, okay, so Colin has like wisdom, he gets her, but where was this before? But we as the audience have to understand like, oh, they were friends before, so that's why. And it's like, I find like the friends to like lovers trope a little lazy sometimes for this reason. Because I'm like, we're just supposed to assume that they're friends, so now that's why they're going to be lovers. I hate that.
Correct. You're right.
This is where the nice guy trope comes from. Like, this is not enough.
That, and plus, one thing that I kind of noticed is the way he like, oh, I love Penelope now, after they show his life being empty.
Yeah.
Sleeping around, writing all these books. I traveled a lot, but I still don't know who I am. I don't know this. I feel lost. I feel this. Da, da, da. I'm like, so for you to feel feel fulfilled, you need Penelope. Like, you're not an established person on your own. Do you know what I mean? Like,
he always had Penelope too. So it's just, I don't know.
True. It's like
didn't really back on. Always
exactly.
The crutch. You know,
my life is meaningless. Now, like, I need to get you to find meaning. I don't. I don't know. I don't know. For me, like, Kate and Anthony were very established as individuals. They both had responsibilities. They both knew what has to be done as the elders of the family to take care of their siblings. Like, they never felt like empty, and they've communicated enough and had enough moments to like, we have a lot in common. We like a lot of same things, and we just happen to have some chemistry too.
Yeah.
That season, I'm just gonna watch it again. So, because it's super in therapy, I swear to God.
And I think the issue is that like Daphne and like, I don't know, Simon weren't that developed. Like they were, but they weren't. But like, unfortunately, Penelope's really developed of a character.
Yeah,
she's a very, very, very developed character. Like we know her layers, we know her nuances. Colin is nothing compared to her, and I think that's another issue.
You're so right. You're so right.
Yeah. It's the fact that the love interests aren't at the same level of like development, unfortunately.
He's too surface level. He just is.
Yeah. And that like doesn't work anymore for us, unfortunately.
No.
Like we didn't get depth out of Colin. Like no type of the biggest, like, I guess the most depth that we got out of him is like, oh, he writes erotica. Like he has a writing thing. He has a writing thing. He's a writer. That's like his
personality is writing and traveling. That's his personality.
I think this is best saying, because like so I thought like the biggest complaint from everyone is going to be, because this is the biggest thing that I keep hearing everyone say, is that how is season 3 going to top Queen Charlotte's dialogue of like King George professing his love? How is it going to top "You're the bane of my existence" or "I burn for you"? Colin says what? I don't even remember the line that he said.
I don't remember what he said.
I think that was like, I'll be honest with you, like the whole season I'm like, it's fine. That was when I was going to riot. I'm like, there's no profession of love. I think that was the thing that stood out to me. I'm like, there's no deep, well-written profession of love.
Oh my God.
A staple of Bridgerton and Shondaland's like series. No one's going to be quoting shit from this season.
You wrinkled my brain right now.
Oh my God.
I think that was when I was just like, this season's not it. That was when I recognized it.
Even Simon and Daphne have the burn. Yeah, I burn for you.
For you. He goes off. Yeah.
And then literally every quote out of Anthony's mouth.
And even Queen Charlotte had I love you. Like, I will not go, George. Like, everyone quotes it. We know
heaven
it.
And I'll stand between you and the heaven and the earth and the...
I can't even remember what Colin says to her.
Nothing.
He says something. And it's like, really, whenever he said it, I'm like, that's it? That's all you have to say?
Yeah. No.
That was bad. I was very mad.
Oh my God, I'm just like,
I never realized.
Right.
Did not hit me until
Yeah.
you just said it.
Unless they do it in part 2. Which I don't know. But,
I mean, he already told her he loved her. He proposed to her. So that's the love confession part is done. And there's no big... So here's what I predict is going to happen because it has to. If I remember my book correctly. He will find out who's that she's Lady Whistledown.
Lady Whistledown.
That's a major conflict. That has to happen. They're going to either break up, maybe, argue.
And then maybe do it? I don't... But
then
like,
maybe
again,
but it doesn't work because you need that initial first love confession, first time.
Now, like that carriage moment. That carriage moment was perfect.
That's it. And needed an epic monologue from the love.
Yeah, because it was a great steamy scene. The chemistry's been great. I'm just like, there's just been this. It's like you said, like Colin hasn't done anything.
There, he should have told her how much he turned. At least tell her how much. All these days, he's been dreaming about her and turning him on.
Yeah.
Just by looking at her type of thing.
Like, I can't sleep because of you. I don't know. Say something.
Yes.
You're in my dreams. Like, there's a moment in this Turkish drama that I love. Is like, you have infested my dreams, my life, my work.
Enough.
He's like, then why are you here? Get out. If I'm so annoying to you, get away. But he's actually trying to, because he's such a stupid kid. Like, he's trying to say his love. You have completely overtaken my life.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
You're right.
That's all it. The love profession could have just been that, a desire profession.
Exactly. And I think like that's what I thought would change my opinion on him, but he didn't do it. So I'm just like, I don't know.
His personality is beach.
Tanned and
he's
coy.
just Ken.
He's just Ken. She's Barbie.
He's literally just Ken and she's Barbie. Like literally.
And Ken and Barbie do not hook up or have any sort of relationship beyond surface level.
Yeah.
I guess so, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. All we can do is hope. But for now,
I'm hoping I'm hoping
what
are
what is gonna be your final thoughts so far? And what are your hopes and predictions for the second part?
You go first, Maria.
Yeah, I really hope the whole Lady Whistledown part ends up adding more tension and drama to it in the way that like we've been missing. I hope the pacing's better because they rush so much that I hope they slow down.
Let us breathe.
Yeah, let us breathe. I don't understand what is going on with Penelope, with Eloise and Cressida. I want to understand why that exists. That would be nice.
Yes. JJ?
Yeah.
You've already used the word pacing. Hopefully Lady Whistledown reveal is probably going to be the second part of the season. Mm-hmm. That's too huge. That's going to be a major conflict. Hopefully we'll bring some tension. Maybe give us a love confession that's worthy of quoting for the rest of eternity, like bane of my existence and I burn for you and all of that. I don't understand what the heck is happening with Eloise and Cressida, with Francesca and John Sterling, with Violet and Lord Marcus, and like, slow it down. I don't care about Penelope's dumb sisters and their pregnancies and their shitting habits. I don't care. Why is this relevant? Why are we wasting time on their crappy diets and all that stuff in the first 4 seasons? Who cares? So I am hoping it focuses back. Let's reel it back in on Colin and Penelope. Give them conflict. Give them a real love confession. Some screaming. Some like, I hate you. I love you. Da, da, da. And then they make out. Like, that's what I want. That's what I want out of Bridgerton. Yes. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give that to me. I'm going to be happy. That's my expectation.
Same thing with you guys. Of course, Lady Whistledown is going to be like the biggest thing because now that, Colin and Penelope are together, that's going to have to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that tension and that drama is going to bring the focus back just on Colin and Penelope.
Yeah, same.
Like we'll get the crumbs about everybody else because, there's nothing we can do about that now.
They deserve crumbs.
That's it.
I'm sorry, you're right. 100%.
Yeah.
I don't need any of those things. And I'm sorry, I don't need any other storylines resolved. I don't. They could brand it out to other seasons if they want, whatever.
Screen it. I don't care.
Yeah, seriously.
I want Colin and Penelope, and I want them to get the proper Bridgerton treatment that they deserve. That Penelope deserves.
They deserve it.
She deserves the desire. She deserves the immaculate quotes. She deserves all of it. So that's what my hopes and expectations are for the second part. Yeah. All right, ladies. This is passionate to us. We are passionate about this.
I still have hope for the second part. I really do think they can bring it together.
Yeah.
Really hope they land it well. Like they really need to stick that landing.
The second part of this podcast is going to be more, more upbeat.
Hopefully there'll be more breathing.
Yes.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be quoting Epic Love Confessions here.
At that point, hopefully.
And getting goosebumps.
At least give me one good one.
Just one line. Just one line, Colin.
I burn for you. Oh my God. Literally, anytime Anthony opens his mouth, it's put it in a museum.
Yeah, exactly.
That man was literally pathetic over Kate. Like, I wanted that so bad.
It's the Jonathan Bailey effect. I think maybe that's what it was, too. Yeah.
He was so good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. So before we sign off, I want to thank Maria and JJ for being guests on the podcast today. Thank you so much. This was amazing. Awesome conversation. So do you guys just want to let everybody else know again where they can find you?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. You can find me on TikTok as Maria Watches Everything. Watch everything. I will be talking about Bridgerton soon. I cannot wait to finally talk about the show after being so quiet. Right? And you can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. I post there not as much. And right now I'll be talking about Bridgerton. That will be my whole personality until House of the Dragon comes out.
Yay.
And the bear. And then that will be my personality.
Thanks again for having me. This has been such a pleasure. So much fun. Anytime I can talk about anything, literally anything. I'll talk about I don't know, a recipe, a lame one with you guys for 2 hours. I don't care. But this is cherry on the cake, the topic, both of you. And you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, Lady Dragon JJ. I mostly post on TikTok and Twitter. I tweet a lot. So both of those platforms is where you can see all my thoughts and all the nerdy, fun stuff that's happening. Some social, real world stuff as well, on occasion. You have to. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Amazing. And again, you guys can find me on Twitter, on TikTok, and on Instagram as Star Wars Tia. So this is going to wrap up this episode of the Temple of Geek Podcast. We want to thank everyone who tuned in today, and especially our guests for being with us today. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to hit us up on Facebook or Twitter by using the handle Temple of Geek. Do you want to check out some of our other episodes or shows? Why don't you head over to templeofgeek.com, where you will find all sorts of content that pertain to the world of geek. Thank you, ladies. We'll see you in the next one. And let me stop.